What is up, guys? How's it going? My name's Aram Joseph. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. In this video we're going to be showing you how we scrap copper from a transformer. Stick around, check it out. So here is the transformer. If you look closely, it has copper. There is bare copper inside, and then what comes out of it has been insulated. So we will be cutting the insulated wire. I won't be taking out the insulation because I currently do not have a machine that strips it, but we will be stripping the copper that is within this block. Sorry for the noise. Away. Okay, that comes off pretty easy. Now we see what we're working with. Okay, I'm gonna grab a tool to cut this and then we'll get right into it. Okay. So that is copper, bare copper. I'll take off the tape later. I don't waste too much time, but that is copper. Hopefully at the end I'll be able to weigh this and then we'll see how much we're able to retain. Okay, so how do we go ahead and do this? Just let you guys know, this is the first time I'm actually separating the copper. Typically I sell the transformers as a whole piece, but this time I decided to go ahead and extract the copper from the transformer, just so you guys get an idea of the process, and it'll be like a learning experience for me as well. You can tell, so this whole thing, it looks like there's glue. You can tell right here there's a really shiny streak. I think there is glue on the inside right over here and on the other side too. So I'm trying to figure out a way to pop this out of this block. Maybe if, let's put it like this, it's more flat. I'll try to push even that. Well, first attempt failed. So now okay, that did nothing. How else? The next thing I'm thinking is maybe if I can try to higher the temperature of the glue by putting a heat gun to it, that way I can somehow wiggle this out of this block. So let me clear some of this space out. Right now are you playing with this? Okay. Okay, I'm ready. I mean, this is a pretty thick block, so I'm not interested in making the whole thing, like all of the glue, liquid again, because that would take a lot of heat, and it's just, this is already going to dissipate some of the heat because of the thickness of the block. I'm just trying to get an initial move going. All right, this is what I've come up with so far. Since I don't have, see, this would have been a much easier process if I had a hammer. I put the screwdriver at the corner where these big screws went through, these bolts, and then while my shoe was on both sides, I just try to drill it in and then pull it out. So I used the weight of my body, and then I was able to take some of these out, like bend them out of shape. I would not recommend doing this like without having the proper hand protection and face protection, because it may slip out of the hole and it may shoot up at your face. So I just want to take off this paper-like cover just to see what I'm working with. Alright, I may have come to a turning point. So I was able to take apart a few of them just by bending the top pieces, and I realized, which now makes sense, this goes, just to give you a better idea. So this bracket, this is how it's placed on the inside. So the copper coil is wrapped around like probably it's a rectangle that's on the inside, and it goes through these slots, and let me get you a nicer piece. It closes up like this on the bottom. So it is one whole piece, but I was able to push off, just by bending it, one of the bottom horizontal metal brackets. So I'm going to continue doing that. You guys will see what's up. Alright, almost there. Cut myself a couple of times. As I said, it's not a process I recommend doing with the tools that I have. There are a lot of videos online that show how to do this with the proper tools, but nonetheless, this is how far I've gotten. I am almost, it's very time consuming, but it's almost there. There are a few pieces that just the glue, like this piece should slide off, but the glue on the inside right over here has connected, like this would be a good example. So it's connected right here in the middle. So these two side pieces are already loose. It's the centerpiece, the glue, that's basically still holding it together. So I'm going to use another sharp metal piece and try to separate them. There you go, like that. So now that should, like that. All right, there it is. Wow. All right. So, in this video on, how I remove copper. Okay, that's just cardboard. In this video on how I remove copper from a transformer, I'm going through the trial and error on my part on, okay, we got solder points here connecting the wires with the copper. I'm showing you on my part what is the best way, most efficient way to take these apart, and also what's the wrong way to take it apart, and also what is inside a transformer, what it's made up of. Let's go ahead and cut these off. Okay. This should come right out. Yep. Okay. A lot of insulation. It makes sense for this transformer. There's about I believe this is a 120 volt transformer, so all the copper that's going to be retained in here was originally insulated by all of this. So, ooh, right? That was expected. That is all of the solder from the copper to the wires. Perfect. Alright, we're getting there slowly. Alright. Hey, at least it's built well. Alright. Alright, so I took the first level out, got a few rounds of copper wire, not much in weight, but at the end we'll measure it and then we'll see how much its value is compared to the current market value. So just to see like if it's worth it separating them, at least the time. You know, everything is based on the time. If you have a system, which is obviously this, that will be my next thing, is figuring out a much faster system to doing this at a much faster rate, then it makes your time more efficiently used, and the value of what you're retaining much more effective. You know, if I'm spending an hour on this and I'm only able to retain, let's say, $10, and at my regular job, if I'm getting paid, for example, $20 an hour, $15 an hour, it's really not worth it. If it's a hobby, that's a different story. But if you're able to get $10 of copper in 10 minutes, then that's a different story. Your time is used effectively, and you're able to basically make $60 an hour if you have a bunch of these sitting around. So everything is about having the proper method and using your time wisely. So it looks like the base of this is much finer copper wire. So what I'm currently coiling up in my hands is much thicker wire than what's in the base, like the heart of this transformer. More copper there. Look at that, look how beautiful that looks. So another round has been taken off. There's still 2 or 3 more rounds of this yellow tape. That should be a good thumbnail. Time to clean up. 3, 2. Alright. Now that we cleaned up, gotta get back to it. Okay, so revised plan. What I'm gonna do is, see, I rolled up some of the copper again, but then I'm realizing that, you know, this can go on forever. And there are multiple layers. If I can get the right angle, I can show you there are multiple points. There you go. There are multiple points where this yellow tape is again a base where I have to unwrap and then unwrap the copper wire again. So I'm just gonna cut it through the side. Interesting, right? And there we have it. Whew. That took a while. But this in itself is a pretty heavy piece. The whole thing is done. Alright. Look at that. Looks like a beehive. Sure, let me get a good close-up. Next step is to clean this all up and weigh it. It's not like gold, but just to have a colorful metal like this in your hands, it just feels really interesting. So, alright, so we got our scale here. So this is 1.15 pounds. So the size does not entirely match the weight, but nonetheless, this is all for experimental purposes, you know. So this is all based on how efficient you are. If you're able to take these apart in a matter of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this may be worth it for you. This took me, because it's an experiment, it took me about like 40 minutes or so. But once again, this is a learning experience, and plus I want to show you guys what is inside a transformer and how I'm able to retain the copper from the transformer. And then if I weigh in the wires, which I have to cut off these pieces, these plastic pieces, but that's 0.15. .10. So all this was 0.05. Just there it is. So we got 0.1 pounds of insulated copper wire. We got 1.15 pounds of bare copper. So now I'm gonna clear this all up. We'll just leave the copper, and then we'll get to see what the current market value is and how long it took me. And there you have it, guys. This is all the copper wire I was able to extract from that transformer. It came up to around a pound 0.15 for all the copper, the bare copper wire, and the insulated copper wire came up to 0.15 pounds. So I'm gonna show over here the current value of the copper, and over here the amount of time I spent, and over here I'm gonna show what the value of the copper is that I extracted from the transformer. So the process was very interesting. It was a very intense process. I cut myself a few times. It was a learning experience. If you guys like videos like this showing how I extract valuable, precious components and commodity value pieces from electronics, please share this with your friends, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And you know, I'm now putting out around 2 to 3 videos a week. If you're interested in topics like this, please leave a comment below. Let me know what else you want me to take apart, or an interesting piece of equipment that you haven't seen before on camera be taken apart, or something along those lines. Please feel free to leave a comment below, and then I'll get to it. So thank you guys for checking out the channel, guys. This is my way of extracting copper from a transformer. It's a learning experience. It's not something that I would suggest some random person without experience doing. I cut myself several times doing it. I do not condone or endorse you to extract the copper the way I did it. But nonetheless, this was a video on also how not to extract the copper, and I hope that it was an informative one. If you're interested in videos like this, interested in videos on electronic recycling, and also videos on my entrepreneurial journey, that's the second part of the channel. So if videos like that interest you, please feel free to share this with your friends, like the video. Every bit of support, greatly appreciated, more than you guys know. So thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.